I wish to comment on a viral discussion that is going on online at the moment, and that is the discussion about actor Kanayo or Kanayo. My name is Bob Edochie. I am an actor in Nollywood in over 120 movies. I am a pioneer. I made the first Nollywood film. That's the very first film that started Nollywood. I conceptualized the idea of African film in home video format, and I sold the first Nollywood film, Echoes of Wrath, starring Richard Mofe-Damijo, the year 1982. I have also worked in the Ugandan film industry, the government of Yoweri Museveni. I am better known as the founder of Nollywood, or the father of Nollywood, depending on where I am. In Uganda, I was called Chi Nigeria, which means Nigerian film. I personify Nigerian film to the rest of Africa. I wish to comment on an ongoing debate that's about Kanayo or Kanayo, whom we fondly know as KOK, is a friend of mine. Chief Pete Edochie, whom we also know as Uncle Pete, is also a friend of mine. These are two friends of mine and colleagues of mine, and I have great respect for both men. And the debate is about which of them came first, which one will be considered the founder of Nollywood. And I read comments by Pete Edochie in which he said that the films made before Things Fall Apart were practically no good. And which means that it was when he and Things Fall Apart started that, basically they launched the home video film industry in Nigeria. My friend Kanayo is on the defensive, saying that he started out before Pete Edochie, and he acted in Living in Bondage, which he also claims to be the first Nigerian film on video. So it's interesting. I mean, everything said in the pursuit of more better film is good as long as the objective is for the industry to advance. I would beg to disagree with Pete Edochie that the other films done before Things Fall Apart were no good. Pete is my friend, my neighbor, next door neighbor, in Bishop Anyogu Street, Enugu, sometime in the 1990s when Adiele Onyedibia, the director of Things Fall Apart, chose him to play the role of Okonkwo. I remember there were arguments, there was opposition to him playing that role because some cultural purists felt that Pete did not resemble Okonkwo in the story, because Okonkwo in the story was dark, stout, short and muscular, and that could hardly describe Pete Edochie. Nevertheless, Onyedibia put his foot down and chose Pete Edochie, and he did a wonderful work of that. But as at this time when Things Fall Apart was launched, Kanayo was already a celebrity actor. He had been a celebrity actor before Pete even got selected for Things Fall Apart. As a matter of fact, Kanayo was already popular in the East, acting at Aba. It's when he became too big for Aba that he came to Enugu, where all the big productions were taking place, including Basi & Co., The New Masquerade, and so many others. And I remember the very first day KOK arrived in Enugu, at least at the station of ABS TV, and we met each other and linked up and became friends. There was no Pete Edochie in the acting industry. Of course, there was no movie industry. I won the 1982 National Award, NAFEST, and launched Richard Mofe-Damijo and other great stars, and sold the first Nollywood film ever. And that was 1982. Since then, I got home to Oba in Anambra State, my beautiful village, and then we started the productions of Mike Olifedimma in Oburanyamu. And these productions ran for over a decade. So anyone coming to say that Nollywood started with Living in Bondage, with all respect, the person is delusional. I have also had this discussion with producer Oke Ogunjofo, who suddenly popped out and said nobody watched my Echoes of Wrath. okay, Ogunjofo. Everybody who had access to television watched Echoes of Wrath because it won the national award, NAFEST, and after it won the national award, it was serialized on television in all TV stations in Nigeria. All NTA stations carried Echoes of Wrath, in which Richard Moffett Damijo played Emeka, the prince who was going to be married to an outcast, and all the commotion and brouhaha that followed. So people come out and they say, I started Nollywood. How did you start Nollywood? How did you? When I started Nollywood, or they say Olu Jacob started Nollywood. When I started Nollywood, Olu Jacob was in London, in England, acting theatre, international movies. I respect him for the effort he made eventually when he came back to Nigeria. But he was not in Nigeria until the later part of the 1990s, and or even after that. I remember because I was working with Edu Boma at that period, and we used to see Olu Jacob when he started on NTA doing this series. And the people that I was working with then were Sonny Oti. I used to travel to work with him in Jos, which had the Nigerian Film School then, the only film school. I think there was one in Lagos, Unilag as well, but the major film school was in Jos. And I used to go see and liaise and work with Professor Sonny Oti, who was Dean of the Faculty of Arts. I had my movies all over the NTAs in Kaduna, radio television, in Jos, Radio Plateau, NTA Port Harcourt, NTA Benin. KOK and Peter Edochie were rookies to me. They were all new as far as movie was concerned, and as far as the television was concerned, they were new. K was definitely older than Pete. He had had this experience in Aba, where I was also coming to write scripts and engage in television. So he already had a background, but the background was quite localized, which is why he came to Enugu. And Enugu had the best TV station, if not in Africa, in Nigeria. And all the artists all over came down into Enugu. And eventually this idea crossed my mind that we could cut off the television, put our drama into VHS tapes and sell directly to people. And families could watch our drama directly. And that if you make a little effort, take the drama out into the open and shoot more professionally, it became a film. That's how Nollywood was born. Nobody agreed with it. All the people who were functioning with me were afraid. This because the NTA at that time had an attitude. If they felt you were not a good boy, you'd be banned from television. And TV was the only avenue for artistic expression at that time. The radio, either a radio writer and voice actor, or you are an actor on television. And if TV, NTA didn't like you, if they found you uncomfortable or too ambitious, if you didn't want to collect the peanuts they were paying anymore, you thought, as I did, I confronted the authority a number of times saying, look, you have to pay us more because people are coming to watch what we are showing. People are coming to watch, people are watching, and I see a lot of adverts in between the movies we are acting on television, the soap operas, the dramas. They carry a lot of million naira adverts. Why don't you pay us some of the money so we could be professional, so we could focus on our art? Not that I go to work as a security man, the other man goes to work as a cleaner somewhere or civil servant, and no one is really focused. I was told by the engineer director that we artists are living in the clouds. We are artists, therefore we are victims of imagination. We are half crazy products of our own dreams. We're dreamers, basically. Nobody wants to watch Nigerian film, he said. They're just managing to keep us. I said, well, let's see how it goes. We pull out of the television. And everyone I spoke to said, hey, you want to take away the little money I'm getting to support my family? I was a rebel or a revolutionary, depending on which side of the divide you are. Eventually, that revolution brought Nollywood. I didn't stop there. I wanted Nollywood to go international. I knew for it to go international, I had to be abroad. And I went abroad. I spent so many years promoting the Nigerian film culture in Europe and East Africa. So many years. I put out my money. I held symposia. I held public lectures. I wrote, I went on television, internet, everywhere there was a space. And eventually, the world started to recognize this industry. And then people look at me and say, it can't be him. You know, when you come into a place where people are eating, you don't ask who cooked the food. They say, come and eat. You join and start eating. Do you ask who cooked the food? No, you don't. If they say it's that little boy there sitting at the corner that cooked, you say, no, it can't be him. There are many big boys here. The big people you are calling big boys, they are people that I launched, like Richard Moffett Damijo. They are the ones that I launched. Like Lillian Bach, I picked Lillian Bach from Teju Osho Market. I backed her up, supported her, called Sebejiro and other friends to support her, and she's a huge star today. Now, if I say I launched Lillian Bach, some people will say I'm insulting the superstar. My role is different. I am an actor. I'm a writer. I wrote long soap operas, Nollywood scandals, Basi and Co. I wrote movies. I am an artistic technocrat. I craft artistic industries.